Big shout out to Celsius. Check them out. Click the link in the description to get some. I got their fancy vibe right here, getting me amped up for the most dangerous waves on the planet. So check them out. Try them out. Click the link. Thanks, Celsius. What's happening, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you guys could like this video, subscribe to my channel, and yeah, we'll hop into it. The 5 most dangerous waves in the world, according to me. Starting with number 5, in my opinion, would be Nazaré in Portugal. And I know a lot of people are gonna be like, oh, why is it not the most dangerous wave? It's kind of just my opinion, but I have my reasons, and you will find out throughout this video why it is not, to me, the most dangerous wave out there. So the things that make Nazaré so dangerous is, first of all, the power of the wave, and then it's set up like a giant beach break. So I don't know if you guys have surfed even small beach breaks. You can kind of get caught inside and stuck in these weird little currents everywhere. But there, it's like one of the biggest waves in the world, and there's a cliff you can get sucked into. When say you're driving a jet ski trying to pick someone up there, there's so much whitewash and currents and stuff moving around and foam and sand that it gets in the impeller and makes it really hard to even move the jet ski. Like, the jet ski doesn't even want to go because of everything that's happening in the water. So it makes it, that's just another factor that adds to everything that's scary about that place. It's cold. The wave moves super fast. So when it's coming in, it's coming from really deep water and hitting this like shallow sandbank, I'm pretty sure. And it just is, it's just an open ocean wave. It's really fast. Okay, Nazaré also has this cliff with these massive rocks that you can just get sucked into and just maybe never return. In my experience, when I was there, I literally almost died. My one time I went there during a contest, I didn't even catch a wave. I got caught inside, like on the main peak by the cliff, kind of caught inside, and the jet ski could not grab me for about 15 minutes. I thought I was going to die. Like, kind of pushed me towards the cliff and then sucked me out, and then it was just so violent and turbulent where I was that the jet skis couldn't even come in and grab me. And I was in a white rash guard, and I was pretty hard to see. So, but I made it out alive. Coming in at number 4, I would say, is Jaws. So number 4 is Jaws, in my opinion. And all these waves I'm bringing up, I have been to all of them and surfed all of them and got very smoked at all of them. So I'm sort of speaking from experience as well. Hopefully everyone agrees with me. But yeah, we got number 4, Jaws, and I'll jump into the reasons why. Jaws, just like a lot of big waves, comes with extremely long hold downs, which makes it more, I guess, dangerous to run out of air and pass out underwater or drown. So I remember one of my first times going to Jaws when I was younger, one of our friends from Maui got like a 3-wave hold down right off the bat and survived, luckily. But it's one of those waves that can just keep you under for a very long time. And obviously you can tell by any clip you see of this wave is how powerful this wave is. So when this wave like hits you or the lip lands on you, which has happened to me multiple times, it's just violent, very violent. It's pretty undescribable how violent it is. I haven't been in like a crazy car crash or anything, but it seems like a car crash that just doesn't stop. And this is another one of those spots where it's really hard sometimes for jet skis to come and grab you, or if they miss you, say someone comes in and misses you, then you got like possibly another like 10 waves on the head. Jaws is also located kind of in the middle of nowhere, and the cliff and the rocks makes it really hard to like come in through. So if you get injured, you got to get on a boat and be taken to a hospital, which can take a lot of time, which can add to the danger factor because there's no access to medical like right there, unless there's doctors on the boat or something, which to get to a hospital it takes a while. It's like a kind of a far boat ride in, so you don't just have like land access to get on the road and go to the hospital. If you aren't going out on a boat or a jet ski, which I never do at Jaws just because of the fact that I get seasick, one thing you have to deal with is the shore break, which is the reason why there's no access to like the road right there and like hospitals or ambulance. you have to hike down this cliff, which is a lot of times really muddy, and you're like sliding down in all your gear, everything's slippery, and then you get there and it's like Waimea or Keiki shorebreak kind of on just massive, massive boulders. So that, you can ruin your session before you even get out, if you do what I do and go from the land. But most people do take boats. A lot of people paddle out like I do. But yeah, that just adds to the whole danger factor. And it's Jaws. Look at the wave. It's crazy. Another thing with Jaws, I think, that makes it super dangerous is the crowd. Because it is an easy wave, I guess, to paddle out to. If you got to ride on a jet ski or you like hire a boat or something, you can just get straight out to the lineup, and it brings access. It just gives access to a lot of people, which is not usually the best thing, because there's a lot of guys that just want to be heroes out there that just want to get a Jaws wave, and it makes for some chaos. Sometimes like people will be flying over waves and boards will just be landing on people. It's just another factor that adds to the danger. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Jaws as number 4 on my list. Number 3 on the list, on my list, is Teahupo'o in Tahiti. Every time I say it, it's just like every one of these waves I'm talking about could be number 1. They're all super dangerous, but in order of places, I think this is pretty accurate on like the dangerous waves. The reasons Teahupo'o is so dangerous is, if we show a clip right here, just how thick and powerful this wave can be, and what it's breaking on is just the shallowest, sharpest reef ever. It pulls so much. It's already super shallow. It goes from like, the swells go from like this vertical underwater cliff from like 100 feet, 150 feet to like 20 feet. So all this open ocean energy is just like coming from the middle of the ocean, and it just hits right here on this 20-foot deep reef, and it just unloads so much power and energy that when that wave lands on you, you can die for real. Like, same with all these waves, but it's just something you've never really like seen before, and you can get so close to it when you're there. It's even just spectating it, it's crazy to see. The reef out at Teahupo'o isn't like the reef here in Hawaii, in like on North Shore. I'd say it's very, very alive and sharp. So shallow and so sharp that if you land on it, it's just like landing on just a bunch of like razor blades kind of. So that is a huge factor of making this wave one of the most dangerous waves on the planet. Another thing that makes this wave super dangerous is where the boats and cameramen and like spectators sit. It's this tiny little area between the wave that's breaking, Teahupo'o, it's a huge crazy slab left, and on the inside over here is this closeout section that's right inside of it is on dry reef. And these boats are going over every wave. Like, every driver there is very experienced. Usually stays out of harm's way, but there has been times, like there's viral clips of boats just going like, being like this close to going over the falls, and like people flying off, and it's all happening right there. Sometimes you kick out of a wave and you're just like on top of boats. People have just kicked out of waves and went straight into boats even. So that is another factor. Another one I would say is when you fall at this wave, after all, like say the initial fall is very violent, one of the most powerful waves in the world, if not the most powerful like wave energy wise. But if you fall and then you get sucked into where we would call like the little closeout section underneath those boats, it's a spot that it's very hard for jet skis to come and grab you, and it just holds you there and pounds you and pounds you and pounds you. And if it's a big tow day and there's 20-foot sets after 20-foot sets, like you're just in the impact zone at the mercy of that wave, just hoping it lets you up or pushes you in or anywhere. So number 2 on our list of dangerous waves is Mavericks. Mavericks in Northern California, right next to Santa Cruz, Half Moon Bay. There's a good reason it's number 2. It is obviously a deadly wave. It is freezing cold, there's sharks, there's fog, and it's a very, very powerful wave, just like all of these. And the thing with Mavericks is it stands up super tall, makes the drop very hard, and it's like doubled up like right away off the takeoff, and a lot of times you're just airdropping, but right when you fall there, the way the reef is set up, it's like this plateau from what I've been told, and it creates this like undertow effect that pulls off the reef. So when you fall, it pulls you down off the reef even deeper, which makes for way longer hold downs, and it doesn't drag you like out of the impact zone at all. Well, I mean, sometimes, but a lot of times it'll just pull people straight off this underwater shelf and hold them down for like 2-wave hold downs. So every time I've been to Mavericks, I've watched someone get a 2-wave hold down. Thank God it wasn't me, but like I've seen it happen multiple times, and it's because of the way the reef is set up there. And they get these huge swells that we get from Hawaii. So these massive North Pacific swells that just slam the coast of California, which makes for one of the biggest, steepest, scariest waves on the planet, and deadliest. Say you're paddling out to Mavericks, which I've done a few times. It is a pretty long paddle out, and it's very difficult, so it can be very dangerous before you even get out to the wave. When you fall there, if you do end up getting pushed way in, there's all these rocks that are just chaotic. If you get sucked in there, it's really bad. That's just one other factor to add to Mavericks, number 2 on our list of dangerous waves. Okay, if you guys haven't already, click that subscribe button, click the like button, and let me know in the comments if you like this video, if you'd like to see more videos like this. And yeah, this brings us to number 1 on the list of most dangerous waves in the world. And I think some of you guys out there could have guessed it, pipeline. Right here, right down the road. The number 1 factor I'd say that would make this not only the most dangerous wave in the world, it is the most deadly wave in the world, because it's killed more people than any surf spot on the planet, which gives it its number 1 spot. And the reason pipe has killed more people than anywhere on the planet is because of how the wave breaks on the reef. It is so shallow, and the waves are so powerful that the combination of wherever these waves land and everyone falls is right on pretty much the worst reef you could fall on. With the wave sucking up, making it super dry reef, you could say, when you land on the reef, a lot of people get knocked out. If they take a violent wipeout, they're just going straight to the bottom on pretty much these pillars of concrete, and when you get knocked unconscious is usually how most people die out there, or get seriously injured. Every single year, lifeguards are reviving people on the beach, doing CPR multiple times a year. They've saved so many people. Say what really makes this reef at Pipe so different than anywhere else is that it's not sharp. It's really not sharp reef. It is just under there's these pillars of like caves, and just it's like someone laid out the gnarliest concrete and then put one of the most unpredictable waves on the planet right on top of it, and we're surfing on like this much water. Sometimes you fall and just you instantly feel the reef. Like there's no I guess cushion or whatever from the water. You just go straight to the bottom. I have felt it firsthand. Every one of my friends who surfs pipe has had those wipeouts where you get thrown and you just cover your head, and like you just pretty much are like, I'm gonna sacrifice my entire body, just don't hit your head. The crowd is another factor that adds to the dangerousness of this wave. It is probably one of the most per square feet waves of crowd. Like there's more people per square foot at Pipe than like anywhere I've ever seen. There's more crowded waves on the planet, but the denseness of this crowd is just crazy because the takeoff zone is not very big, but so many people want to surf, and a lot of people aren't very skilled enough to surf it, so it makes for a lot of dangerous situations, whether people are dropping in on each other or getting in people's way and all that kind of stuff. So that's just another factor. The wave is very, very unpredictable as well. It's not a perfect chopes like Teahupo'o we just talked about earlier. How that wave is the most perfect, beautiful, picturesque wave you've ever seen. Every wave, especially when it's big. But Pipe, you could be looking at a wave like, oh, this is gonna be a great wave, and then you take off and all of a sudden you're just in a terrible spot. It's a complete closeout. And the unpredictability there, I surf it every season. I'm from here. I surf pipe every swell, and I still am not 100% sure on a lot of waves I go on. I'm like, this could be a good one or it could be bad. And even with like all the knowledge I have there and very skilled people I see out there going on just random shitty waves, it's just all because of how unpredictable that wave is. Another thing I would say is the backwash. So a lot of times in early seasons of pipe, or even just a random north swell comes and pushes a bunch of sand there, the wave will have a ton of backwash because it's so close to land that swell just washes up on the beach and sends these like 2 to 3 foot waves back out to sea. And a lot of times when you're paddling in, you're aware that there's backwash like that day, on that day, but you're so focused on dropping in that the backwash can just hit you out of nowhere because you just forgot to pay attention to the waves coming back out. And that can make for some very surprising wipeouts, because you could be on a wave like, oh, mellow drop, I'm gonna pull in, like this is gonna be sick, and all of a sudden backwash hits you and you just go flying onto that dry reef. Another thing is currents. So one thing that is very dangerous about this wave is when someone gets knocked out, there's this underwater current that just rips them down the beach, and there's a lot of foam, so you can't find the person. If the person doesn't have flotation on, they're going to be underwater for a long time till the water clears and you can see them. So yeah, that is my list of top 5 most dangerous waves on the planet. Let me know if you guys like this video. Subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. I know I maybe left out a lot of very dangerous waves, so I just want to mention a few that I was very torn between of just putting in, because making a top 5 list is very difficult. I did leave out Porto Escondido, one of the most dangerous waves in the world, Ship Stearns Bluff in Tasmania, Waimea Bay, we got the Right in Australia, Cortez Bank, and Cloudbreak in Fiji. So yeah, it was tough. There was a lot of tough decisions here of waves to put in. But thank you for watching.